Welcome back. The noise you hear in the background, I finally did get my dehydrator working well with an accessory. I'm planning to occasionally, when when I'm successful at a recipe, that is, to make some some cooking videos, just because, well, once you've grown your food, you have to be able to cook it, right? And most recipes nowadays, they require some kind of pre-made stuff that you have to go to the store to buy. And so anything that I can put together straight from the garden, or at the very least buy something like milk, cheese, something from the store, some single ingredient thing, then I think it would be good to have a video of it to encourage. Now that you know how to grow it, I can learn how to cook it as well, which greatly reduces your grocery bill. So when we done the casserole, said I didn't have any stock made. That's what I want to do today. My hens were killed by the mink, if you remember. This is one of the carcasses. I took a knife and I cut off all the meat that I could easily cut off. And now I'll put that down in the pot. Another thing, that meat is very difficult to get off. So I really don't like having it to have the meat, get the meat off, is the necks. So I said to myself, I'm going to make chicken stock out of those as well. I'll put that in there, and then I'll put in 6 quarts, or 6 liters actually, of water. So that's 1 chicken carcass and 11 necks. Yeah, that'll be okay. 6 liters. Put that back over here. And I'll slip right by you for a second. This is what I stored my sea salt in. Just a tablespoon and a half of sea salt. The reason I put in sea salt is because it contains a lot of trace minerals and elements that you won't find in regular table salt. Table salt, or your pickling salt, is basically sodium chloride. This will have many different salts in it to add nutrition to your stock. Now we're going to take our harvesting bowl and scissors, and we're going to go outside. Before I do that, I'll put the cover on here. That's not the right cover. Put the cover on there, and I'm going to turn that on high to get it boiling. To make chicken stock, it's really a personal preference, what you put in there. But at the very least, most people will recommend that you put in onion, celery, parsley, and carrot, along with the sea salt, of course. Now, I don't have celery. I have lovage, which is basically the same thing, just a different shape. Parsley's not all that big this year. But what I'm going to do is just cut down some of these flowers' tops and just put them in like that. And as I said, it is kind of a personal preference thing, but I'm going to take some sage and put in there as well. Just a couple handfuls like that. Now we only need one big carrot. This one might be stubby, as we say. Let's see what this one's like. Oh yeah, split into two, but two nice ones. So that's all we need there. All we need is one onion, top included. Now this one is still standing, so I don't want to take that one. This one here is bent over. I think I'm going to take this one. It's a smaller one, but it's big enough, especially considering I do have some tops I'm going to put in with it. Before I go in, I'll rinse the soil off of these. Now, I do have some more green onion from some onion I harvested yesterday. Let's cut that off. Basically just need to take the outside skin off it. Of course, cut off the roots. And quarter it. Now I'm going to cut the bad parts off the green onion. And it doesn't matter really what size I'm cutting the green onion into. About 1-inch pieces, I guess. The thing is, when you get this done, you're going to want to be able to strain your chicken stock fairly clean, so you don't want the pieces that you're putting in to be overly small. Carrot back there for now. This is the sage. Once again, just go on every inch and throw that in there. Lovage. If it was celery, you do the same thing, and when you're putting in celery, you put in the leaves along with it, not just the celery stalk. But with lovage, you pretty much just have leaves. Now, if you want your stock to have more of one flavor than another, then you just put in more of that material. So if you wanted a more oniony flavor, you put in more onion. If you wanted more celery flavor, you put in more celery or lovage. Put that down there now. These are the flower stalks off the parsley I have here. Looks like I'm going to have to use the scissors. Parsley. Now, as far as carrots go, I hear people even eat these carrot tops. You could cut them up and put them in to make your stock. I'm just not going to bother. Break this in half now. I'm going to peel it just to make sure I have all soil off it. This is one place where you increase your chances of salmonella if you get soil in your food when that you're going to can up. Okay. And just cut them into half-inch pieces, maybe 1-inch pieces. You take that, dump it right in there. As far as peppers go, or as far as pepper goes, when you're making stock, cloves, there's peppercorns there someplace. We don't have very many. Actually, I put that on my grocery list. There's only a few left, so I'm going to put the rest in. I'm going to put in a tablespoon of peppercorns in here. If you're putting ground pepper, see, when you strain your broth, it's going to go through the strainer, and then you've got pieces in your broth instead of just a clear broth. Give it a little stir. It's pretty hot here now. The broth is getting pretty hot, I mean. So I don't know if it'll steam up on here. So I'll turn this actually right down on low. The reason I put it over there because this is a double burner. So now it's just the inside one that's on, and it's on a 1 there now, and let that simmer for about 6 hours actually. Morning, it's the next day now. I had this simmering for 9 hours yesterday, and I ended up having to put in 2 more tablespoons of salt in here. But apart from that, it tastes delicious. What I've got to do, take a slotted spoon and get all the big pieces out that will come out with that. See, I added in a little longer because it was still being a little too tedious to get the meat off the necks. But I tried a neck late last night and meat came off fairly well, so I said I'll let that sit there now overnight. Those carrots will probably taste very good too, so I'll probably have those for dinner or lunch. Okay, I'll put that over side. You'll see if it all fits in here now. I gotta reach in behind you. I got a fine mesh strainer here. rest of the meat. Now I'm going to rinse this out and put some water in there. Now I've got that on warming up. I have a spray down set up so I can spray it fairly clean. And several bottles there soaking in hot water, and the lids are down there as well. I'll move these bottles over now. That's 9. Just washed my ladle this morning. This is your normal 1-inch head space, which the nice thing about these means you're putting the liquid up just barely touching the bottom of this funnel, and you've got a 1-inch head space. I got enough for a couple more bottles there. Now I'm going to get the lids. And I wet my finger, and I use my finger to wipe the tops of the bottles, because if I do that, I'll feel any inconsistencies in the surface of the tip of the bottle here. So if you're using a cloth and something is really stuck, you might notice it, or if there's a chip that like a real small chip. But if you run your finger around, you'll feel that little chip or little bit of stuck on stuff. See, a little bit, a couple of times I felt a little bit of something stuck on there, and I had to go back and make sure I got it off. Rings on just finger tight. Now, this beautiful looking, see if you can hold it up to the window. Beautiful looking chicken broth there. We wait for that to come to a boil, and then we wait 10 more minutes and we take it out. It's been boiling for 10 minutes now. Interestingly, I have one that's floating. Hopefully that's okay. Nope. A lot of the material came out of it. I know why too. I don't worry about whether it's a new lid or not. This lid had a little dent in the metal when I checked it, so I shouldn't have used it. All the other lids look perfectly fine, except for the little tiny dent in the edge of this lid. And there's the result. The rest of the broth that was in the pot amounted to 3 bottles, so now I have 4 bottles to put in here. Going down into hot water, hopefully none of them breaks. I'm going to make butternut squash soup in the next couple of days, so I'll use that one right away.